Hello everyone, welcome to Laexcellence IAS Academy. Recently, the wholesale price inflation country increased to 2.38% in February. Okay, in this context, we will discuss what is the WPI index. The wholesale price inflation is nothing but inflation at the bulk level, where businesses sold bulk of the goods to the retailers. Okay, this is called wholesale price inflation. This wholesale price inflation is measured through the wholesale price index. Okay, this wholesale price index in the country is calculated and published by the Office of Economic Advisor. This Office of the Economic Advisor, which calculates and publishes the wholesale price index, this is every month. Every month, this Office of Economic Advisor calculates and publishes this wholesale price index. This office comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, this is with respect to wholesale price index, and this wholesale price index measures the prices of the goods which are sold at the bulk level. We already discussed, and the base year for the wholesale price index is 2011 and 12, and under this wholesale price index 697 commodities are included, and this 697 commodities are divided into three sectors. One is manufactured sector, and is primary articles, and third is fuel and power. Okay, and with respect to manufactured, among the 697 articles, it consisting of 564 and consisting of 64% of the weightage. And with respect to primary articles, these primary articles consisting of vegetables like food items and also minerals. And with respect to primary articles, among the 697 goods, 117 goods are with respect to primary articles and consisting of 22% of the weightage. And with respect to third, fuel and power, among 697 goods, these fuel and power consisting of 16 goods, and with respect to weightage, this consisting of approximately 13% of the weightage. This is with respect to wholesale price index, which published by the Office of Economic Advisor under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry every month. Okay, this wholesale price index measures the inflation at the wholesale level. Okay, now we'll come to the recent wholesale inflation, as we already discussed before the beginning. Inflation of manufactured products. Okay, because of this manufactured products, there is inflation. Because of this, there is the inflation in the wholesale prices. Okay, this is the context we already discussed in the beginning. And with respect to primary articles, the baskets of the primary articles, there is a disinflation. What is? There is a disinflation with respect to primary articles. These primary articles consisting of, we already discussed, vegetables like food products. Okay, and with respect to, you can note here that fuel and power are experiencing a deflation. Okay, there is a disinflation, there is also deflation. And with respect to excluding the food and food products, there will be called core inflation. Whenever there is a, we exclude food and fuel. Okay, food and fuel, we arrived at a core inflation, right? With respect to wholesale price inflation, the core inflation of manufactured WPI inflation rose to 1.3%. No need to mug up numbers. You should remember only with respect to what is core inflation, what is head inflation. The head inflation, where the food and fuel products are included in the inflation. With respect to core inflation, food and fuel are excluded, and there will be inflation called core inflation. Okay, and why food and fuel excluded from the core inflation? Because food and fuel are volatile in nature. Because of that, food and fuel products are excluded before measuring the core inflation. And with respect to disinflation, okay, disinflation and also deflation, what is the difference between these two terminology? Okay, the inflation, you can note here that the inflation is nothing but there is a general rise in the prices of the goods and services in the economy. Okay, this is the base. Here we can say that 5% inflation exists. Okay, this is called inflation. Okay, this is where the price is in the rising state. This is called inflation in the economy because the price of the goods and services are increasing in trend. Okay, this is called inflation. Whenever there is a decline in the inflation, okay, whenever there is a decline in the inflation, this is called disinflation. Okay, disinflation, because inflation is declining, not the prices of the goods and services. The prices of the goods and services are still above the base price. Okay, because of this we call this disinflation. There is a decline in the inflation, not the prices of the goods and services. This is called inflation, this is called disinflation. If the prices of the goods and services fall below the base price, this is called deflation. This is called deflation. Okay, please remember that wherever there is a decline in the inflation, we call disinflation. Whenever there is a general rise in the prices of the goods and services, we call it inflation. When there is a decline in the goods and services, the prices of the goods and services, what is called deflation. Inflation, deflation and disinflation. Hope you got understand with respect to these terminologies, and also you got an idea about what is core inflation and is a headline inflation. And with respect to what is the difference between WPI and CPI. Okay, we already discussed that the wholesale price index measures the inflation at the bulk level. Okay, but what is the difference between WPI and CPI? As we discussed, WPI measures the wholesale inflation, but CPI measures the inflation at a consumer level, at a retail level, where consumers part of the inflation, because this is called what a consumer price index. And with respect to the sharing of the food products in the wholesale price index as well as consumer price index, the food articles are part of the consumer price index with respect to 40% approximately, 39.1%. With respect to wholesale price index, the food articles are part of with respect to 24.4% and below than the 40% with respect to consumer price index. And with respect to WPI, the services are not part of the WPI. And with respect to services which are part of the consumer price index, WPI measures the only goods, not the services. When it's compared to CPI, CPI measures both goods and services with respect to measuring the inflation in the economy. And with respect to WPI, manufacturing inputs and also intermediate goods, these are part of the WPI and not parts of the CPI, because the inputs and the intermediate goods both are not part of consumers involvement, and these are not related to consumers, means consumers not directly consume these inputs and intermediate goods. Because of these inputs and also intermediate goods are not part of the consumer price index, whereas services are not part of the WPI. This is the another major difference between these two. And with respect to imported goods, okay, the WPI wholesale price index measures the goods produced domestic alone, not the imported goods, whereas the consumer price index measures the both goods and services in the economy as well as imported goods and services as well. Hope you understand this. With respect to WPI, goods which are produced domestically measured at a bulk level. This is with respect to WPI. With respect to CPI, goods and services produced domestically as well as abroad which are imported to India measured at the retail level. This is called CPI. Okay, and with respect to WPI used as a GDP deflator in the country. And with respect to CPI used anchor price to control the inflation, to maintain the balance of the inflation in the country by the RBI. This is also major difference between the WPI and CPI. Hope you got an overall idea with respect to what is CPI and WPI. Okay, thank you.